Why you will never get it? Because you'd like to understand everything, again and again. This is my short story behind this title. Why I never learned nothing in English. Why I tried a lot of times, but I cut only closed doors in my mind because I'd like to understand. I wanted to understand again and again what I read from a book or what I heard from a teachers. I never achieved what I can do at this moment with you. That means I can speak without any script. That means I can improvise for you on this video. And what happens again when I tried to understand differences between words might and maybe. This one was a terrible story. Because my nerve increased to a high quality. Because I didn't understand what is differences between might, this is only one example only, and between word, maybe. And I understand only one. Your mother language don't allow for you to understand a lot of things from English. I can tell you why. Moment. So, languages. For example, if your language is Arabic, Malay, Hindi, Filipino, Indonesian, Vietnamese, Turkish, Spanish, Portuguese, Korean, Hebrew, Chinese, or Bengali, this is only a few examples, and you'd like to understand and you'd like to translate and understand what you read from a book. These words might and maybe was only examples. And if you'd like to understand verbs, tense, that means times in English, but in your mother language, these times never exist. What will happen? You'd like to understand, and you will not understand because these times, this type of verbs never exist in your language. And this is the reason why you'd never translate. Yes, I know this is so hard. If you read one word and you'd like to understand what means this word, for example, run, think, eat. Yes, this is so simple words. But how you can study these words if you can't translate these words to your mother language? And how you can create sentences if you'd like to understand, for example, present simple. Maybe this is so simple in your life. You can use modal verbs. Okay, problems begins because, might, maybe. How to use these words if this one is same words? No, this is not same. But maybe in your mother language, these differences never exist. And this is the reason why you never will understand these differences. And this is the reason again and again why I told you a few times never translate to your mother language these words. Yes, I know this is so hard. If you can't translate these words, what would you like to learn? If you translate it, your stress in your mind and in your body began to increase and allows you to hate everything which is English at this moment for you, because you'd like to understand everything. You'd like to find logic behind this English language. For example, verbs, type of verbs, times. Why is this past? If this in the future, how? If in your mother language these times never exist. And you would like to understand everything again and again. But how? If these times, type of times never exist in your language. And what happens if I go back to my short story with these example words, what I told you with might and maybe? Few hours, I take it out to the trash. If I understand differences between two words, no. Why? Because these words, or with other words, logic behind these words is another, such as mind logic in your mind. That means if you use your mother language from this type, what I read from you, from this table, that means if you are from United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait, Egypt, Malaysia, India, Philippines, Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand, Turkey, Mexico, Brazil, South Korea, Israel, Bangladesh, etc. And you would like to understand everything which was written between these words or inside verbs, conjugation, pronunciation, or spelling. This is better, type 2. But your tongue and your muscles in your mouth never learned how to tell, for example, T and H. But you'd like to use it, for example, word thirsty. Thirsty, if I am thirsty, I'd like to drink. But 30, that means 3 and 0, this is different. And you can't tell this word. Can you do something with this problem? At this moment, no. The first step will be you must learn how to use English as such, your broken language, as my language at this moment. Next step will be to play with grammar, but not with understand, but with practice. That means if you use one word, only one word, might, how to use might without any translate. That means you must use another words which allows for you to understand with deduction what means this word might. After this one, when you practice this word correctly in grammar, because this is a new one in your life, you can go to another word, but not for maybe, because a lot of mixed words will be in your mind. That means few times later, in future, you can go back to the next word, which is same such as might. That means for word maybe. This is so simple. And every words I will give for you in today. Here is my video list, which will be recorded for today. 47 videos. And this is vocabulary blocks. But in this video, I don't like to tell you anymore what means vocabulary blocks, because I like to create one intro for vocabulary blocks too, because this is at first time so complicated, but this is not, because if you learn simple word and you translate these words, and maybe these words don't exist, or meanings behind this word is another, such as from your mother language to English, and you'd like to applicate this word in English. But how if this word mean in English absolutely another, such as in your mother language? You can't use it. You can't translate that. This is the reason why you never translate. If you translate and you'd like to understand what you read from a book, This will be the next problem. And these problems behind this language persists. And you can find a lot of new problems. And from these issues, you will never find a right way how to go out from these problems until you'd like to understand everything. For example, what I told you a few minutes ago for words might or maybe. But from these issues exist a lot of in English. This is the reason why forget to understand and forget every time to translate these words. And go back to basics, because this is the biggest problem with English. I know a lot of people thinking at this moment with exams B2, C1, C2, that's mean anything, this paper or this diploma or what is this one, but this is nothing. If you think at this moment you can apply it, what you studied when you achieve this exam where you are at now, for example B2, and you can apply everything what you learn, and you think this happens automatically because you learned, because you applied everything in your mind without your mouth. That means you never told what you studied. So this is the biggest problem. That means if you have a C1 exam in your pocket and you think when you begin to speak and you'd like to tell something for someone and you can't automatically use these words and anything from grammar what you learn because you learned it. So mistakes in your mind give for you a lot of stress. This will be never automatically. That means you can't go back. You will be absolutely beginner such as me at now, and until your fluency in English such as mine, because I can speak with you without any script, without any overthinking, without any translate. That means I can speak how much time I'd like to speak with my broken English, where my grammar, vocabs or accent are so bad, but I can speak how much time I'd like to speak to him, which is the title of this video. Yes, with my bad English. So until you can't do it with your broken English, you must forget what you learn. If this is so hard, I don't know, because I haven't any exam in my pocket at this moment. Because I know at this moment. I know, because I learned, because I began thinking about English, how it's work, if I like to speak. I don't like to learn grammars. I don't like to learn, for example, how to decrease my foreign language accent, because I know at first is to speak, to tell something. Yes, with my bad English. Yes, with my bad or with my poor words. And yes, with my bad English accent, that means with my mother language accent. Until your fluency in English with your broken English is not so good, that means you'd like to speak because you think you can't speak while you have a lot of exam in your pocket. You will lose in every situation because you can't generate long sentences, what I told you in my last sentence. Without script, without translate, without overthinking about grammar. That's mean broken English. Broken English means, in my situation, and maybe for you too, you can use this language in your daily situation without thinking, without translate, without fears in yourself across grammar. That's mean when I speak, behind me, that's mean behind my mind is nothing, because I haven't anything about grammars, but I can speak fluently. That's mean in this situation. Speak fluently means you can speak, you have one team, and you can speak how much time you'd like to speak with your English, what you have at this moment, with your accent, with your pure words, and with your bad grammars. This is the English. Until this one, when you achieve this level, which is broken English, and you can generate sentences, your sentences will be understandable. That means you can tell something, you can use stops in your sentences, that means blocks. And you can add more sentences to one sentence, and logically this sentence will be full to understand for everyone. You can go to another level where you can begin to analyze and practice grammar as words. For example, go back to one irregular verb, and you can practice these three types of words from this team irregular verbs separately and together too, only with sentences where you can tell something. If I go back to present simple, because this is so simple to use, and I choose only one word, I run. Maybe this is good. If I'd like to tell you more, I'm running, and I'd like to give more, I'm running at now, maybe this is correct grammarly. Maybe not. But I can use it and I will use it. And if I use it, my English will be better. That means my broken English will be better to use this English language fluently without any overthinking. And this is the reason why I can create for you in this video too long sentences, which sentences fully understandable. Yes, with my broken English. Until you're overthinking everything, have to use a grammar section in your sentence because you'd like to use these sections correctly in your language because you think this is the reason why you learn a lot of and why you achieve these accents what you have in pocket or at home, and you think this will be happens because you learned a lot of. So this everything behind this logic is so far. This is not true. When you open your mouth because you like to tell something, because your ego at this moment is so big, because you think you learned a lot of words, a lot of grammars, and you can use highest level from grammar. And when you open your mouth, what happens? You will be absolutely beginner. You think it at this moment, but this is not true too, because if you begin to speak, and your muscles in your mouth and your tongue and your thinking translate again and again, and these muscles in your mind never practiced, such as your muscles in your body, you will not use what you learn. That means this miracle in your mind. This is such as any cartoon. This is not true. You'd like to use it because you think you will use it because you learned it. And what happens? You'd like to tell something and overthinking everything. And you will find in same time a lot of synonyms for one word. And the problem is only you forgot to say only one simple word. Because you're overthinking again and again, because you understand everything. You'd like to translate because you'd like to everything. And from this cycle, you can never go out. And if inside this cycle, you have a big ego with a lot of fears, you will never open your mouth because you You think at this moment, if you open your mouth, you will be perfect in English because you have B2 accent. Do you know how much people, which I told with him, how much people can't speak fluently such as me? B2, C1, C2. In real situation too. And why? Because this is absolutely different. Exams, B2, C1, C2, means only one thing. This person achieved something which was written inside exams checklist, for example. Yes. But when I heard C2 inside improvisation, absolutely crashed. Nothing happens. Not with the speed which I can use in this video. Not with complicated sentences which I use and my sentences are logically good with bad grammar, bad accent and pure words. No. Because his words were perfect. More thousand words. His grammar was perfect. Very high level. And his accent was correct. Not such as mine. But when he began to improvise one theme, everything crashed. And this was not in one situation only. In all situations. Because differences between use this language and you think you will use this language, this is so different. You think at this moment, if you learn a lot of grammars, you can use more thousand words. These words and this grammar, and not forgetful accent, will be automatically opened in your mind because you learned it. But you forget again and again until you didn't use these words with grammars in real situation. That means you never opened your mouth. Everything will be closed behind you or before you. This is not so nice, yes? This is not so happy, yes? I know. But this is so simple. And this is the reason why I told you more times, use this language, what you have at this moment. Use this language if your English is terrible grammar, not English. No problem. Use it. Because if you increase speed of your speak, everything will be worse there. But will be better because you use this language and you can generate more complex sentences separately, and these items from these sentences will be connected together and already will complicated and very good sentence with fast speed of your speak. If you practice it with your broken language and you forgot, this is bad method. No, this is the best method. Until I learned and I like to understand everything and I wanted to translate any words, nothing happens. I can speak more languages. And I learned how to practice one new language. Not, have I told you? How to learn one new language? No. How to practice new language. What is the hardest way? Because maybe you think this one at this moment about English. So what is the hardest way to open your mouth and use your broken language? This is the problem. You'd like to use this language absolutely perfectly from first time, until you open your mouth. I will help you. This one never happens. Your English will be bad until you don't speak a lot of times daily. And we can go back to our basic question, what I ask you more times in my videos. Question will be same at this moment too. Today, how much hours you practice this language? English. How much hours? Today, I will record 47 videos. Every day I made more videos. If I record short videos, for me to shoot 70 videos, not a problem. My record was for one day 300 shorts for one day. That's me. Only title and I can speak. But these videos, what will be shoot in this day, will be all long videos. Yes, 47 for today. That means how much time I will speak, and this is only for video record. But my life is not only video record. I work with clients. I have another business. And when I go to everybody, or I must write something for someone, or speak with someone, or call for someone, I use this language too. That means how much hour I use this language without any learn anything behind this language. How much hours? Until you think you can do it without any practice because you learned and because you heard from my text or from my speak, this is so bad to use it, and better is if you will not use same because you don't like to be such as me. This is the best thing. Have to lose your English. English is so simple. When you take it out everything in your mind, every stupidity behind this language, you forget for grammar, for your bad accent, for words. Yes, I know. I learn a lot of words. I translated these words. Maybe I know 3,000 words at this moment, but how much words can I use in my videos? Only few hundred words only. That means I'm absolutely in negative because I can't use this word. No. I'm so happy because I use what I use. I can use what I can use. And this is big differences between loser and winner. If I'm happy because I can speak with you, how much time? On this display I can read the time what I shoot at this moment. 28 minutes. Yes. 28, this is so small letters. Yes, 28. And now, before I end this video, because this is so long video again, and this is my problem, if I begin to speak because I am in flow, because English is for me such as mother language, because I learned my first lesson and I begin to speak for you, I can't end this language. Yes, I know this is my biggest problem behind this language. But if you achieve this problem, you can speak how much you like to speak. And this is fluency. This is so simple, no? And when you achieve this level, you can go back to learn grammar. When you learn your grammar, that means you practice this grammar, what you learned, because in my mind, learn means you practice, but you heard and never read. This is so differences. And you repeat again and again. in real situation. You can speak with someone in real situation. That means you can ask, and this another partner can give for you answer, and opposite this too. And you can do it with one verb, and you can conjugate these words again and again, and you can create simple sentence, question, positive answer, negative answer, in few types and times of verbs. This is only grammar. If you practice this grammar loudly, yes, I know, this word not exist loudly. Loud out. Yes, I know, but I can use it because I can generate new words between I speak. Because English is for me such as my mother language. And now go back, before I end this video, and now go back, and this will be the last message in this video for you. And now go back to our first lesson, which was developed in my method. If you remember, what was these sentences as rules or laws? I'm an English person. I'm the best in English. The bank wins a lot of times. Who is this bank? Me. And why? Because I know if I open my mouth, I won this situation. If I begin to study anything, irregular verbs, chunks, modal verbs, between more verbs times type, I lose every situation. Because what happens? I will see only one thing. This is so complicated. I can't understand. Because in my mother language, these types of verbs never exist. Okay. When I do something, okay, this is ink. I'm running it now. Okay. If I do anything, that means this is end of this thing. Okay, this is end. But in English, you can use a lot of times and a lot of verbs types for this one. And problems will be if in your mother language these types never exist. And you'd like to understand, you'd like to give this English grammar between this cycle. Where is your mother language grammar? And what happens? Only stress and stress again, because in your mother language this type of grammar never exists. This is the reason why you never learn from a book. This is the reason why you never translate. And this is only one reason why you open your mouth. When you will achieve this level, what I achieved and what I show you again and again in my videos, that means I can speak with you fluently without any thinking, without any translation, and I can generate a full sentences, a lot of and long sentences without any stress, without any fear. This is the first level where you can tell for someone or for myself, that's means for yourself, your English is so fluent. And after this one, when your English will be fluent, you can go back to your grammar. Because my grammar is bad, but I can speak with you fluently. With faster and faster. In my videos, I speak with you slowly. If you achieve this level, you can speak without any script, without overthinking, and you can speak more than 30 minutes, such as me, for you in this video. But in next video I can do it with same method, because my method words, which was developed for me, you can tell for yourself you achieve the first level, which is you are fluently in English, because this means how to be fluently in English. Because in my mind, for example, for this word fluently, I haven't translated words. I never learned this word too, but I use it in more situation. and I learned it. So my question is so simple at the end of this video. Can you do it too? What I made in this video, and I can make in a lot of my videos? That means you can speak without any script, without any help. If you can do it, you achieved first level of this language. That means you are fluently in this language. The next question is, if you achieved fluently status, if your grammar is bad, if your vocabs are rich or pure, if your accent, for example, with words T and H together, are so good or not so good, but fluently is the first. That means if you can speak fluently without overthinking, translate or anything, you achieve the first level in English. That means you can speak in English. When your speed of speak is so good, that means you can generate your sentences, you can ask something, or you can answer when someone asks you, and you can give for them simple answer, but shortly, you achieve the first level. So I ask you again and again, how much hours you spoke at this today? If your answer is 0, nothing happens in the future. If your answer is you fill out more forms, or you played something with your teacher, this is very good. But my question was another. How much time you speak? This is the secret behind any languages. So that's all. You can see alone. I can speak with you how much time I'd like to speak with my broken English. And if you'd like, this language will be understandable for you. If you'd like to find any problems and mistakes from my text, you will find. What is the difference between losers and winners? Winners can achieve something, and loser will find in every situation only mistakes where was written or taken, or where I speak something which was very bad. Only one question, and I go to the next video. Because for today I have 46. This was one from 47. So, who are you? One person with big ego? That's been a lot of fears. And you will find only mistakes in my English which I use in this video? Or you are a winner and you like to learn something from me, because I can speak fluently without any script, without any help, without anything. How much time I'd like to speak at this moment? 39 minutes. This is so simple question, no? You can do it or not. Until I see in a lot of situations, B2, C2, C1 and C2 can speak such as me without any can, because speak for video cam is hard, yes I know. But until C2 can't speak with me or can't improvise, 5 minutes only, not how much, not 40 minutes. What do you think that will be? Nothing. And why? Because this is so different. Until you don't take doubt from your mind's stupidity behind this language, and you are closed in grammar, in accent, in vocabs, your situation will be same.